Welcome to the Big Stud Sales Podcast, where I want to help you nail construction selling. I'm your host, Mike Claudio, owner of WinRate Consulting, a construction, sales, consulting, and coaching company focused on the remodeling industry. This podcast will help you take the guesswork out of how to be successful selling to homeowners, making you a stud at identifying who your market is, where to find them, how to qualify them, and what to do to close the deal. Connect with me on Instagram at WinRate Consulting or email me, mike@bigstudsales.com.
What's up, studs? If you're listening, either are or want to be a stud in selling in the construction industry. Sorry, Ryan's over here waving at me.
I'm waving at the camera.
No, that was perfect. That was well timed. So Ryan and I have both been consulting businesses, him from a marketing perspective, me from a sales perspective for a little while now. And today we're going to talk about some of the biggest reasons that there is not success in businesses. What are some things that businesses are doing incorrectly? So Ryan has recently rebranded himself Ryan Weber Marketing, and he's gone through some of those challenges and growth pains as the end of the year comes to a close here. But just want to say that to kind of help him get that back out there.
Ryan Weber Marketing. Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. Previously, Ryan Weber Marketing, previously known as 944.
Yep.
But ultimately, we have both been helping business owners reach revenue targets. That's both our that's both our goals, what we do for a living. Mine's more on the communication, business development side. Yours is more on the marketing side.
Getting their message out there.
But we both see businesses kind of consistently struggling with the same things. Because, guys, if you think that your industry, your business is unique, you are wrong. Every business has similar struggles, similar challenges, just different markets, different marketplaces. But, all right, Ryan, I'm going to let you answer the question first. What is something that you see the majority of the clients you work with struggling with from a marketing perspective?
From a marketing perspective, my people struggle with their target audience and knowing who their target audience is. Mike's getting a phone call from Ghana.
Area code 23354.
Nice.
I'll let that one go to voicemail.
Yeah, you should wait on that one.
I almost want to answer it, put it on the air.
The Ghanan prince is needing your money right now. No, understanding their target. So your target audience and who specifically you need to tell your message to and what their actual problems are. So it's all about, I guess a better way to put it is clarity. That's what they struggle with. They really struggle with clarity and clearly defining their message to the right person.
So I'll equal that, and I'm going to say clarity internally with who they want to help and what types of projects they want to do. Specifically in the small business realm, in the construction industry, I see guys all the time taking on projects they shouldn't be because they think it's quick money or easy money, or they can't leave the money. You know, if you're a roofing company that's also doing fencing, you probably shouldn't be. Mm-hmm. You're diluting your brand, you're diluting your issue, but clarity. So clarity is a good one. It's a great starting point.
Yeah. I mean, for me, when we're talking about your services or what you do, the more specific you can get, and I know in your brain this sounds like it doesn't make sense, but the more specific you can get and the more targeted and narrow that you can get, the easier it is to reach more people. And the reason is you're not confusing anybody with what you're doing. And what happens is you start trying to be a little bit of this and a little bit of that and a little bit of that, and you're going to answer this problem or question, you're going to answer this problem or question, but it is not one specific thing. And so you can really build some leverages of being the expert in just one specific thing rather than the expert on a bunch of things. People have made millions of dollars by being the expert of one thing. So just one very, very specific thing in a very niched market. People have become millionaires. And so in our brains...
Input like pool noodle.
Yeah. Like I'm looking at your water, like smart water. Okay, well, that guy's a millionaire. So finding that one very specific problem and don't go away from it. Like that's who you are and what you do. Be the expert in one specific thing and always go after that. Then once you've become a millionaire, you can start trying to branch out. But most of the time, you can be very narrow and do really, really well. And people struggle with that because they're like, well, I need money. I'm going to take on everything. But if you're not known as anything, no one knows you as anything. So like,
say that one more time.
Hold on. So if you're not known for anything, you're not known. You know, you're just kind of another person. You're not the guy for this.
Yeah, you're not an authority. There's no differentiating factor for you.
That was out there.
Deep.
It was so deep that it went over my head.
Yeah, no, it was perfect.
Probably went under my head.
Yeah, you're kind of tall. But, you know, in my case, until you identify internally what that clarity on the mission of the business is, it's impossible to help you as the marketing person for my business articulate that to the masses. And I see it all the time. Guys they trying to be so broad and so available for everybody because, you know, if you were around 2008, 2009, 2010, scarcity mindset is real. You're not sure where your next lead is coming from. Part of that's from lack of proper planning and reverse engineering your goals. Go back and listen to that episode. But when you create a unified front as a business as to who you are, what you do best, what types of clients you're taking on, what types of projects you're taking on, it allows your employees to get behind you, your referral partners to get behind you, your network to get behind you, your market to get behind you, because you become the authority in that specific thing. Yes, that takes longer to cultivate. But it also is significantly stickier. Like what I mean by stickier is it's harder to get rid of you.
So there's we talked about books recently too. There's a book out there about like how to create raving fans. And so if you can be the expert and the authority in just one specific thing, you can create a network of raving fans who are going to recommend you over and over and over again for that one specific thing. But you've got to do that first. They're not going to recommend you for everything. If you try and be the best at everything, you be the best at one thing.
Well, and the bottom line is you can't be the best at everything. And what happens is you dilute your message, you dilute your client experience, you dilute your quality control. And what happens? You become unreliable.
Right.
You become the guy that might do a good job this time, might not, because no one remembers exactly what you're best at if you're saying yes to everything. But when you properly articulate and say no to the right things, you gain so much more credibility, so much more clarity, so much more interest from your people to say, no, call Mike. He'll give you the right answer. Whatever Mike says, I trust him.
Right.
If you're constantly changing your tone, changing your message, changing who you're going after, changing the types of projects, people are going to change how they feel about you every fucking day.
So I guess, you know, a struggle we have is clarity. How can we improve that? What are some things that we can do to allow our people, our listeners, to understand how to be more clear, internally and externally?
Jesus. You got to ask questions of yourself objectively. And what that would look like is you have to understand, what is your existing labor force capable of? What are they best at? What do they enjoy doing the most? Because then you're putting them in an environment to be successful and happy employees make good employees. Good employees do good work. Good work creates good referral partners. That's kind of the equation there. You can ask yourself, what are you most profitable at? What is your ideal geographic location? What is your ideal value? Right? Because sometimes, like, you might think that $300,000 project is perfect, great, that's double last year's revenue. Yeah, but you're going to suck at executing it, which means, yeah, it might be double the revenue, but you might be negative profit. And negative profit, I don't care how much top line revenue it is, people, it does not matter if you're not making money doing it.
Right.
And yeah, it might suck having to do $10,000, $30,000 projects to get the same revenue, but if you're hitting a 35 or 40% profit margin on that, that is a killer way to start a business or grow a business or sustain a business.
A broke millionaire.
I mean, all the time.
Yep. Lots of broke millionaires.
Yeah, you have plenty of people, you know, and this, oh man, social media people, there's so many fake people out there saying, you know, e-commerce, do this, Bitcoin, this, that, this thing, other thing, sell this gizmo and fucking.
You're Bitcoining?
No, I'm not Bitcoining because I'm not knocking Bitcoin. I'm using an example of people talking about how, like, I became a millionaire. Okay, you might have had $1 million in revenue, but you're broke as a joke.
Yep.
And that ain't cool. And they're faking it, man. There's so many fakes out there. Because you know what? Real people who have earned what they have don't flaunt it. They just don't. Some do. This is not a broad spectrum statement, but for the most part, you are the people who have actually gone out and done what they say they have done. Don't talk about it.
Right.
Like, actual people you want to learn from, They don't need to flaunt it because they already made it. They're not worried about what you think. They're not trying to sell you something to get rich. They're already rich.
Yeah.
And it's just, man, I could go on forever about that.
No, I mean, that kind of opened up kind of another area that I see a lot of business owners struggling with. They are so focused and so concerned about their competition. I don't give a shit about my competition, what they're doing, and what they charge, who they are. I don't care. And the reason is I can't do anything about them. The only thing I can do is focus on myself. So I only want to focus on my business, what we're doing, how we can improve, what can we do for our clients. I don't care what my competition's doing. I don't care what they're posting on social media. I don't care what they're faking on doing this and that. It doesn't matter to me. I only want to focus internally because those are the things that I can control.
Not even that. You can't differentiate yourself if you're copying your competition. Mm-hmm. Like, look, there are some instances, and I think you'd agree with this, when you're just getting started or you're rebranding or you're changing your service options or you just bought a business or you just started a business or whatever, when following who's been there before you does have some value. Right. Would you agree with that?
Yes. So,
but you have to put your purple cow on it. You got to put your differentiating mark on it, put your unique selling proposition on it. Yes. Be on social media, but don't post all the same damn pictures I
steal shit all the time. Like, I copy the best of the best, but it's not a copy word for word. It's a copy, put our own spin on it. Take the idea, take the creativity and say, cool, how can I make that my own?
And your own doesn't always have to connotate or mean better.
No.
Right? Because like your clients hired you for a specific reason. Right? You're like, for me, like I'm a sales consultant. There are a lot of consultants and coaches out there, but I own who I am. Like, I'm going to cuss at you. I'm going to cuss in my videos. I'm going to cuss in my blogs. I'm going to cuss everywhere because that's how I operate. And some people that rubs in the wrong way.
Cuss your mom? I'm going to cuss your kids?
I would never cuss your mom. Jeez. And if you cuss my mom, I'll kill you. But I don't actually mean I would kill you, but just disclaimer.
You'll be mad.
I'll be really angry. It's the only fights I've ever been in have been over my mom. Legit. But anyway, like, because I do that to differentiate myself to the extent of if you can relate to the way I communicate in my content, you'll relate to the way I coach. And if I made my content try and be like every other coach that's out there and mirror everybody that's out there, there'd be nothing that shows you what my unique selling proposition is. And my unique selling proposition is I've been in the trenches with you. As a business sales consultant in the construction industry, I have sold in the trenches my clients are in. That is my unique selling proposition. This isn't theory. It's not concept. It's not out of a book. It's not out of a course. It's me. These are my experiences. What I teach are things I've learned. And you're the same way as a business owner. The way you put on a roof or the way you remodel a project, the way you project manage, it is based on your own unique experience, failures, wins, learning curve, everything. Own that. Don't be afraid of it because I think so many people, and this kind of mirrors the clarity side, they're afraid to say who they are and who they want to be because they're afraid of upsetting some people. Newsflash, you don't want every client in your market. Not only do you not want them, because a lot of them are not great people and don't pay on time or are going to knock you down on price, but you physically cannot give them all the right experience.
And a lot of people are out there stating a message, trying to be the savior for everybody. And you can't be. Find your niche, find your area, find your people that you are going to service and own it. Own who you're going to work with. And that might only be 10% of the people. Like for you, it might only be 10% of the people in the remodeling industry that like your message, the way that you talk to them. There might only be 10%. And you're going to repel 90% of the people. But you don't care about that. You only focus on the 10% because I bet if you got 10% of every single remodeler, you would buy an island in Fiji and be never here again.
But it's like...
So Mike's moving to Fiji.
Yeah. But like getting people to unsubscribe from my blog.
Wow. Wow. I love when people unsubscribe from my blog.
We're going to have to leave that in. We're going to leave that one in. Getting people to unsubscribe from my blog is a good thing.
Right.
Because if they don't like the content I'm giving out for free, they're not going to want to pay for the rest.
Right.
Which means they're not an ideal target market, which means I don't want them in there because it affects open rates. It affects his engagement rates. It affects like the value of that effort getting put into it. If I'm putting effort into a mailing list for my blogs alerts, and 90% of people in there don't want to read it anyway, that is an entirely wasted use of my time.
Right.
And same thing for your marketing, right? Clarity, understanding your message. Those are all things that you want to qualify the wrong people out before you waste the time calling them, going out and meeting with them, proposing them. You need to know beforehand if they're a right client for you or not.
Right. And I tell people this all the time. They think every single video or post or whatever needs to make them money. Sometimes it's trying to detract the people. So you need to make a post so you can say, these are the people, if you liked or engaged with this, that tells me you are somebody that is qualified. Now I'm going to run more stuff only so you can see it. All the people that ignored it or unsubscribed or disliked, that's great. Now I don't have to spend money on you. And that allows me to be more clear with the message to the target audience that I know I can service, the people that I want to own.
So clarity. It's all about clarity. Externally messaging, internally.
Be a better communicator.
Yeah, but it's not just talking. It's having a clear and consistent message.
Right.
Like both internally to your employees and your leadership and your clients, and externally to your prospects and referral partners. That message has got to be consistent or you will never be taken seriously. And I mean this with everything that I've learned.
Thank you for listening. My goal is to take the guesswork out of how to properly sell within the construction industry. Once you nail this part of the process and get your sales and business development clicking, it makes everything about the job that much easier. If you have any specific scenarios or questions you want answered, shoot me an email, mike@bigstudsales.com, and follow me on Instagram at WinRate Consulting. Remember, win fast and win often.